to my channel. I have a series of 3 videos coming up to make these 3 projects. They're all made from one multi-project panel from Janie's Originals, and I will show you how to make each and which parts of the project panel that you will need for each. So I've got this drawstring bag. There's a little journal that I've made with a fabric cover, and that also will fit inside the bag. And then there's this little needle case. So yeah, hope you will find some inspiration from these videos, and happy sewing. This is the multi-project panel that I'm going to be using in this video. I'm going to use part of it for this video. I'm just going to show you, if you haven't seen one of them panels before. You get these 2 larger panels. They are roughly 9.5 by 13.5 inches, so you get 2. If you were to use them to cover a journal, then that would probably be the cover, that would be the inside. And then you get strips, some 2-inch strips. This one is as long as the panel itself, same length. This one's shorter. This is a 3-inch panel. Then you get 3 squares, which in this case are, I think they're roughly 4 inches. I'm saying roughly because I know Janie does work in centimeters, but I go in inches when I'm sewing. So then we've got 3 ovals right there, and some little pieces that could be done for applique or machine. Embroidery. What is it? Free motion embroidery. And then you got this little thing here. So I'm going to be using that in today's project. I'm going to make a roughly 6-inch by 4-inch fabric covered journal. I'm going to use this from the panel, and I'm going to use, I've got a couple of the things here, one of the squares, one of the ovals, I've got the little sparrow cut out, and I've got the Go Seek Joy. Now I have got other videos on making fabric journals. I haven't done one with a wadding center, but I'm going to use, I say it's actually pretty similar process for making this journal cover. Okay, so I've got a piece of wadding, and I have cut this. I'm just going to double check that I've cut this at, it's about 6 inches this way, because that's the height I want of the journal. Now I want it to be roughly 4 inches, because this will fit into the little drawstring pouch that we've also made with this panel. But I have also added on a 1/2 inch for a spine, so I can sew a signature in. So that's my one. I've just got some cotton wadding there, and then I've got just a plain piece of cotton. And what I've done is I've used this spacer from Janie for making sure I've got enough for a border. Okay. Now I'm going to just sew this onto the wadding, and I'm going to do it really, really simply. Janie is not a great fan of folding like this, but when I do a fabric journal, the under bit like this, I always do, so that I just prefer it to do it this way. So it's mostly it's not going to be seen, but it's just to give a covering to the wadding and to allow me to just cover it quickly. So I'm just going to put a pin in there and just going to put this honestly doesn't matter if this isn't done particularly exactly. It's just a little encasement for the wadding that's inside the journal cover. Okay, so just try and make sure that this, you fold it over up to the edge of the wadding. So like I say, it's not necessary for this to be particularly straight and neat. I understand what Janie's saying. It does add bulk to the corners, but for what I'm doing here, I haven't done that very well at all. It's not really a problem for me when I do it like this. It just gives it just a bit of covering. So let's just stick a pin through that. So when I've finished doing this, and I'm not making a very good demonstration of it, but I think you get the idea. All I'm going to do is just sew it on to the wadding, just to hold it in place. And then we will come back and do the next part. So I will be back shortly when I have got this all sewn on to the wadding. So I've sewn the cotton on, and as you can see, I've not worried too much about the corners, whether it's straight, because the outer cover is going to end up being sort of a applique collage, whatever you like to call it. So it's not going to be even anyway. It's going to be, you know, pretty good sort of shape, but it's not necessarily going to be, you know, all in line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut a piece of this panel. If you can see, I've marked it just slightly bigger on each side. It's up to you how much. All I would say is that as this gets sewn on the front with the applique stuff, it will kind of like settle. So this can always be trimmed, so make sure you've got enough sort of wiggle room so that once the front's done, that you can cover it. I would, you know, if you were using something else, I would say, you know, you could leave it until it's till you've done this, but actually you need some of these pieces for the applique for the front. Well, I say you need them. That's what I'm going to do. So all I'm going to do then is let's check what I marked that as. What have I got? 6 3/8. So this is my my line here, my mark. So I'm going to come down to 6 3/8, just so I know. So I'm not going to overcut my material, because I don't know whether I want to use that or so. Yeah, so we're going to cut that up there. I did down to that mark, and then we're going to go across from there to that mark there. Can't see my mark, but we'll go from there across. So once that front's been done, this will go on here. It will get sewn on, and then I can just trim this or fray it or whatever I feel like doing. So that's for the inside. So now what we want to do is we want to do some arrangement on the front of I don't know, of the bits. So I do love doing ones like this that are a little bit, you know, sort of patchworky. So I think I'm like to keep the frog, so I'm gonna have to be careful how I cut that. You could always cut the frog. Sorry, totally out of your eye shot, so I'm talking about things that you can't even see. Now remember, this is going to be the front of the cover. This will be the back. So it's entirely sort of up to you how you do it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that across there so that I can have the frog. Don't want to move the frog, so we'll cut that bit off. And the idea with this is that what happens is you just go with the bits you've got and you just play around until you're happy with how it looks. So if you've got that bit there, I'm not bothered that there's that little cut there. I'm just gonna trim that off. So again, doing that out of your eyesight, that's not helpful, is it? So I think that, I don't know, do I want the frog? I quite like the idea of the frog on the back, actually. Put the frog there, and we'll have the we can use a little bit of this. I might cut a strip of this. What else have we got? I do want that on the front. I do want Go Seek Joy. So let's see. What size strip do I need? Kind of to there maybe, because I like to overlap. I'm going to do some zigzag stitch on the machine to sew these on. I'm going to use a little bit of lace maybe. I've got, you know, I've got some like cutting out these sort of doilies things. I get these sort of antiques, antiques fairs and craft sales. So I'm going to add some of that in. But we need to just cut the fabric pieces first. So I reckon if I've made a mark. Where did I make my mark? I must have made it on here, mustn't I? Where did I make that mark? There, just under that little purple flower here. Just there. Oops. Yep, let's do that. Whoops, using me. It's just under that purple flower. I do like these gridded rulers. This is a Tim Holtz one, which has got inches on, and I've got another one with centimeters on that I use for a lot of the bookbinding stuff for Janie because she likes centimeters. But it does allow you to, you know, I'll line the edges up with these lines, and then I know sort of I've got a right angle here, So they're really, really useful. And also they've got this kind of centering thing, so you can work out the center of things, you know, by getting the same sort of sort of part there. Right, so let's cut that. Okay, so we're going to put that along the bottom there. Is this enough for the top? Shall I use that bit? I think I might use that bit. And it might go underneath there. I'm going to put that to one side for the minute. Because we'll kind of use this as the base. So I'm just going to make sure I've got enough under there. So I'm going to cut up through the stalk of the mushroom there. Sorry, snail, I've cut right through the middle of you. But we'll put that under there like so. So that gives me the base, and then which I will also on in a moment. And then we'll add on some embellishments, some lace maybe, more like that, I think, underneath the I might find some other lace that's a bit wavy. We'll see. I've got some other lace here. Might just do it. So maybe a bit along here. We'll see. It might be nice to sort of border that with lace. Maybe sew the lace underneath before I actually do anything. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. What could. This is the bit I like about making journals. Just going to fold that in half for a sec, because this is the bit where you get to play and fiddle and yeah, see what you like. So right, let's stay focused. What I'm going to do is I am going to get these pieces sewn on, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the other bits of applique that we might use on our lovely I think that's what it's supposed to be. What is that supposed to be? Slide down like that. It's supposed to be like that. You know, no. I'm thinking he's going to end up like that. We'll see. As I said, I can just keep playing here, but for the moment, I'm going to get this lot just stitched on to the cover. Okay, and so we're stitching it onto this bit here. Okay, and then we'll then cover that with the other piece that I've kept for the inside, like so. Okay, okay. Right, I will be back shortly when I have done that. So I've sewn on the fabric at the moment. So I sort of did a straight stitch kind of about 1/2 inch in, and then I went around the pieces with a zigzag stitch to make it look a bit patchworky. So now the next thing is to put on any more bits of applique that I want to add. I might add those, but I'm thinking I want to add in some lace. Here. Yeah, so now all that's going to happen now is I'm just going to end up having a little bit of a play around with some embellishments. Yeah, and we'll see how we go. Quite like the idea of that being all the way along. So I got. So I'm going to just have a little bit of a fiddle now around and then attach the bits, and then I'll show you the next stage. I finished sewing this side of my journal cover, and that's what it looks like on this side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the inside on. Once I've sewn this, I'm probably going to want to give it a little bit of a trim, but that's okay, we can do that. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to give it put a couple of pins in. In the middle. Oh, not right in the middle, actually. I'm going to put one in here. One in here for the moment. Now, when I sewed this on, I sewed this 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew 1/4 inch all the way around, which will attach this. But before I do that, I'm going to find the center of the piece. If I get my ruler, I want to go kind of from. I'm just going to fold those bits in because they're not of much interest at the moment. So I'm looking for the center of this. So remember, I'm going to use this here. So in theory, we should be at 4 1/4 each side, which we are there. Okay. So here is my center. And that line is where I will be sewing my signatures in. But I gave myself a 1/2 inch spine. So I'm going to put a line there and there and there and there. Have I done that right? No, I've gone too far over on that side. Remember I said I gave myself a 1/2 inch. So that's 1/2 an inch in total there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down that line and down this line, just a straight stitch down there, and then this will be where I will put my holes in to do my pamphlet stitch. Once I've done these, then I will sew all the way around 1/4 inch, and I may use a fancy stitch, see how I feel when I get there, and that will then keep this on here. I could use an adhesive. I'm not too fussed about it. Once this is sewn here, this will stop this bit from moving around too much. But we'll see. I mean, who knows what will happen. But I am going to sew these first, because then everything will work out from that, and I can pull that out a bit more. So I will be back when I have done that. So I have sewed back on now, and as you can see, there's a bit of like overhang. So what I'm going to do is I am going to trim that, I'm going to use the edge of the front one as my guide, and then I'm going to use just use my smaller rotary cutter just to trim these off. Oh, oops. There. So I'm using this here to just check. I'm kind of keeping this as straight as I can. I'm also kind of looking for that 1/4 inch sewing line that I just used to help as well. So, whoops, and take the edge off. There. Then I've got this one. Yeah. This is it, why I cut the one for the inside a bit bigger, because I never get it straight. And it just gives me that little bit of room. So this is the last side that I need to cut, to trim and tidy up. Okay, so now I've got my the cover. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pierce 3 holes, and I'm going to use my the piercing ruler from Jamie's Originals. So I just had to go and get it out my cupboard. So we're going to use the ruler. So I found the centre this way, and I'm going to find the centre this way now. Now it should be 3 either way, which it pretty much is. And that's the line. So that there is the centre of my spine. So pen left on that. So I'm going to put one of these dots. Here's my centre line. I'm going to put one of these dots over that. In fact, first I need to put it on here. And I am going to grab my dry white pen, which has gone bulky. I will, where has that gone? Hey, 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 hey. That white pen, no. As soon as I decide to do it a different way, I'll find it. I need my ball, and I'm going to check this way just to make it easier for me. There's my centre, that one there. Now, I don't want to use this one because it's too close to the edge, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use the same. Oh, now I can see that although that's my centre, it's not quite line up. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm as near to, so we're going to go with that as my center. Trying to make sure that this is fairly even. That's really, I do need my dry white pen. Oh, let's pierce these and then we'll go back to it. So this one I've gone a little bit too far up, but it's fabric, it will close itself over. So I'm going to go there and there, and then this one for my center. Okay, so there's my 3 holes. There, there, and there. So I'm going to do a 3-hole outlet stitch bind. Now I'm going to come back in a moment when I've found my dry white pen and have got the papers for my signature, and then I can show you how that will work with my cover. Okay. Right, I am back with all the right bits and pieces now. So we have the 3 holes that I punched, or I say punched, that I pierced through my spine using the ruler. So what I need to do now is I need to line up these holes with this ruler. So I'm going to put there because I need to punch on that hole, and I need to pierce on that hole. Not like I keep saying punch, I don't know. The other thing I need to do, and I'm just going to stand up and come over the top, is I'm going to mark the edge of the book, because that will also be the edge of my signature. So I have I've got recycled cartridge paper from Janie, and I've got, I think I used 8 sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, so I've used 8 sheets, and I have cut them to the right height, and then they all started the same size, but then what I did was I trimmed them off. I marked where I wanted the edge with the ruler, and then I used a knife to trim them so they're the same size. If I took one out, if I took the middle one out and I put it against this one, you can see it's a lot smaller. That's because when you put the pieces in, you can see they go like this. So this bit in the middle is sticks further out, so you have to cut more off it to stay aligned. Okay, so this is a piercing cradle from Janie, and kind of done the things on the wrong side. Bear with me a moment. The reason being, I don't want those to rub off on my my piece of paper. So I'm going to put there and there. I want to pinch that one, and that one. And I'm going to just rub them off this side. Okay, so this is how this now works. Piercing in a cradle like this with a V means you can pierce directly down. I could do it on my piece of card like that, but I run the risk sometimes of going off at an angle. So what we do is we pop the ruler in like so. We line the signature up, so the ends of the signature are in line with the marks I put for the end of the cover. And then all I want to do is I want to pierce where I've got these holes, these marks, sorry. So I'm going in there and in there, and I'm going vertically down like so. So we used these holes when we were doing the spine, and then we used these, this bit like a postage, edge of a postage stamp, to pierce in the cradle. This bit is just making decorative edges, make a like nice little decal edge. Okay, so I've now pierced my signature, and we're going to sew it into the cover. So, which way do I want to go? Probably thread it this way. So, 3-hole pamphlet stitch is the easiest one to do when you're just starting out. So if you're sort of coming from the sewing aspect and enjoying making the covers, then this is the easiest way to then create your booklet. So I've gone through the middle, on the inside, through the middle hole on my cover. I'm going to pull that through. Excuse me. Like so. Excuse me. So I'm pulling this through. I want to leave a tail here. So then I'm going to come back in, and I can see the hole is there. I'm going to come through and then through the hole in my signature. Pull that through. There we go. And one thing I would say, you see I was, having to pull that quite hard, is, the more you put around this spine area, the trickier it might become when you're trying to sew. That's all I would say. That's the only thing that's causing me, because I put quite a bit there. So I went down through the middle one, out. I came in one of the end ones, and now I'm missing the middle one, going to completely to the other end, out through there, pull, there we go, like so, making sure we're pulling this nicely. And I've used a variegated one here just to get a little bit of difference on the spine. Now I want to go back through this middle one. I want to try to avoid splitting this piece of the waxed thread. I'm sorry, I didn't say this is waxed thread. You can wax your own if you've got embroidery floss. Janie sells beeswax, so you can wax your own. So I'm coming through here. Doesn't matter that it looks like it's all falling out at the moment. I just want to try to make sure that I don't come, oh, I'm not coming up through the hole. Trying to make sure that I'm not splitting that. I'm going to push that down through like that. Because the problem is, if you split, I do apologise, I'm making this look hard. My hands are very sweaty and also have a bit of arthritis in my thumb, so sometimes I struggle a little bit. Maybe I have split it, but we're going to keep going. Just need to wiggle that through. There we go. Right. The important thing is not to lose that tail. The rest we can pull and tighten as we go. Okay. So what I want to do now is come back up through the hole in my signature, and I want to again make sure I'm not coming out, trying to make sure I'm not splitting the thread that's already through that hole. There we go. Oh. There we go. And I want it to be the other side of this. Now I can take off my needle for the moment, and I'm going to pull these just so that these ones on the outside tighten. And then I'm going to tie this off in the middle, and that's why you need to be either side. Now done a double knot, and then it's kind of up to you if you want to cut them off short or tuck them under, which I'm trying to do, not very successfully. Tuck them under and cut them off longer, which is what I intend to do. Cut off there. And then I'm going to again push, put that one underneath. Down. And then cut that off. Oop, cut that off there. Okay, so I've now got my booklet, and it will take a little while with the muscle memory. That thread there, let's just chop that off. For the book to want to stay closed, but that's okay. What I'll also do is I'll put a little bit of sari ribbon around to hold it together. I'm also probably going to make what we call a dangle, which will be something with beads and things down here. But I'm not going to do that one on the video. I will decorate that later, and at some point I will do a video on making dangles, but we'll go with that for now. And this will then, if you've watched the previous video from this, but this will fit into our little drawstring bag to keep it safe and clean and hidden or whatever. But yeah, so that fits inside, and we know it's matching because it's come from the same project panel. Okay, so that's the journal cover.